Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of Vijf Vragen, or 5 Questions, as we would say in English. This is our podcast featuring the people of the Netherlands' diplomatic network here in the U.S. We're focusing on the collaborations between our two countries that make our relationship a partnership that works. I'm Jeff Allenack from the Embassy's Communications Office, and I have 2 guests with me today, Annet Monster and Didi Spelbos, both of whom work with me in the Communications Office. Today we're talking about the annual EU Open House, which takes place each May, and how it helps the Embassy reach out to the American public. It's public diplomacy at work. Thank you for joining me today, Annet and Didi.
Hello, Jeff.
Good to be here.
I invited you both to join me today because both of you were deeply involved in organizing the Embassy's participation in the EU Open House. And we're going to watch a few amusing videos of how Didi and I introduced the Netherlands to folks who were up for a challenge. But before we break out the popcorn for the playback of those videos, I usually start with a more basic question. What do each of you do in the Communications Office? And how'd you wind up at the Embassy? Didi, let's start with you.
I am an intern here at the PPC department, and I wound up here because I am a master's student in international relations, and I've always been really interested and fascinated with the United States. So when I studied in Virginia before, when I got back home, I realized I really wanted to go back and come back to this country. I love the culture, I love the people and hospitality of everybody here. So I really wanted to come back, and I found this internship that I thought was going to be super interesting. I would learn a lot, and I love combining communications with politics and kind of doing these two things that I really enjoy doing in one job. So
Where in Virginia did you study?
I went to UVA for an exchange program.
Oh, Charlottesville. Okay.
Yes.
And how long were you there for?
It was 1 semester.
1 semester.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Annette, how about you?
I work as a senior event coordinator at the Embassy, and I moved to the US about 15 years ago. First in a different position, but the past, I would say 9 years at the communication department. And what I really like about my job is that I get to organize events like the EU Open House, where I can work together with not just my colleagues here in the office, but also with vendors, external parties, the public. So it's been great.
Has it been 9 years? I can't believe that.
I know, but that's a good sign because, time goes fast when you're having fun. So
It does. One of the goals of the EU Open House is to introduce our guests to the Netherlands. And usually when people start learning about a foreign country, they start with the language and maybe food, ideas which we can all relate to. So one of my favorite things at the Open House is challenging our visitors to pronounce some Dutch words or introduce concepts that are Dutch. As I mentioned, language is one of the first things we turn to when learning about another country. So I found some words I thought Americans would have a hard time saying. Didi, you helped me with this clip. How would you say they did?
Well, I thought it was really funny. Most people just mispronounced it, but that makes sense. If I had to just pronounce random words. You chose very random words too.
I did.
So
tell you what, before we go any further, let's at least look at this first one. Mm-hmm. Vijf Vragen, which, as you know, Vijf Vragen means, that's what I expected. Yeah. So we're going to start with an easy one. The look on your face is like, that's easy.
She has to pronounce it?
She has. Yeah. Well, how do you say it?
Afsluitdijk. Afsluitdijk.
Afsluitdijk.
Afsluitdijk?
How about without the J?
Afsluitdijk? Ja, Afsluitdijk.
Afsluitdijk.
Afsluitdijk? Afsluitdijk? Afsluitdijk.
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 Afsluitdijk?
Afsluitdijk.
That's pretty not bad. How did she do?
Well, okay-ish.
Okay.
What was it, you and I again? We practiced this.
Okay.
Afsluitdijk.
Yes, very good. Afsluitdijk.
What is it?
Just take a guess.
Food.
I have no idea. just say a pastry. You know, dike means water, so
Dike
it has
means
to
water?
be something involving that. A candy.
A candy.
Yeah.
And what makes you think? What about this word makes it look like candy?
There's something behind you. It looks like it might be candy.
Oh, this is candy.
so.
So you think this is an Afsluitdijk?
Uh-huh.
I hope not.
Absolutely.
What's that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Close.
It's a dam.
It's a dam?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
a dam.
yeah.
I think a dam.
Consensus, it's a dam. It protects this part, yes. Yeah. It's part of the Delta Waterworks.
Oh, it's the big one.
It's the big one.
Mm-hmm. Right. That turns the sea into a lake.
So how did they do pronouncing Afsluitdijk?
Good guesses for sure. And of course, you won't know these combinations of like the you and I that is going to be I, like that. Of course, you don't know that. How
No, and the
how are
J.
they supposed to know that?
Yeah. The
So
J
I
is
thought
silent.
it was pretty good, but it was also funny. But I'm also not going to laugh at them for mispronouncing words they've never heard in their life.
No, but they're laughing at themselves at the same time, so that's part of the fun of it. They know that it's
Of course.
they know that it's fun, and they know it's an impossible ask.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the first time seeing that clip. How what's your impression of it?
It was, and I loved it because for us Dutch people, it's so common to pronounce certain things like that, and then you realize it's not so common at all. Like the combination of the U and the I and the J, you know, that we pronounce that differently.
Mm-hmm.
But a great effort for trying, and it made me smile. I think it was a great exercise. I loved it.
It's always a challenge.
Yep.
The Afsluitdijk. How did I pronounce it right now? Afsluitdijk.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Not too bad. I've had a few years of practice. It is a big dam or dike in the northern part of the Netherlands that separates the North Sea from a lake. Now, this I might have trouble with, but I'm going to try it. The IJsselmeer.
Mm-hmm.
IJsselmeer?
Pretty good.
IJsselmeer.
Really good. Yeah, IJsselmeer.
IJsselmeer. They two E's. IJSEE. I want to say eel, but IJsselmeer.
IJsselmeer. Yeah.
I'll get it someday. It prevents flooding and is a road for cars to travel across. Annette, I touched on this a moment ago, but what's the purpose of the EU Open House?
Good question. The purpose of the open house is to give the public a rare view inside an embassy building and to show them what we as a small country have to offer. So this year we highlighted 3 of our public diplomacy themes, which is freedom, innovation, and sustainability. Mm-hmm. And of course, we also had our famous Dutch poffertjes, Dutch fries, we had our Heineken beer, and we offered the guests a quiz to learn more about the EU. And we had some fun games for children as well. I do believe that the DJ was the cherry on the cake for most people.
The DJ?
Yeah, I saw people dancing, having fun while drinking a beer and engaging with each other. So it was a very happy, positive vibe. Yes.
Didi, this was your first EU Open House, right? What did you think about it? How did the day go for you?
I really liked it. I loved hearing people talk to each other, saying, "Oh, I always like the Dutch one. Like it's always so nice, and the atmosphere is always good." So, and I think it went really well. I am amazed at how many people showed up.
How many people did show up?
How many people did show up?
4,200.
4,000.
Yeah.
Is that the most we've ever had?
It's the most since, I think, 6 or 7 years. Yes,
Okay.
for sure.
It was crowded.
So crowded.
Yeah. Long lines for the food, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it helped that the weather was very nice as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hear many complaints. In fact, I heard a lot of people say what a good time they were having, as you said, that they might even say it was gezellig. No?
Right?
Well, I actually had tried to get people to say that word, so let's take a look at that.
Okay.
The name of the podcast is Vijf Vragen, which means, of course,
5 Vragen.
Vijf Vragen.
Yep.
And a Vragen is?
A little frog.
A little frog. So we have 5 frogs around here. Yeah. It could be. It means questions.
Okay.
How do you say
Gezellig. Gezellig.
Gezellig?
Gezellig.
Again?
Gezellig.
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 Gezellig. Gezellig.
Gezellig.
Gazelle.
Gazelle, like a deer, like a mammal.
Sort of.
Gezellig. 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 Gezellig.
No, it's not G. It's like Gelsig. Gezellig.
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 That's perfect. You must be part Dutch.
Nee.
Nee? Gezellig.
Very good.
What does it mean? What does it mean? You probably saw the answer. That's a good answer.
Garden.
A type of Netherlands, like, item, like a type of accessory used.
It's a feeling.
It's a feeling that
It's a feeling of coziness and warmth and being with friends.
But there's no direct
But
translation.
there's no direct
right?
translation.
There's no word in English.
That's what we've been told.
yeah.
It's all these.
It's all the above. Yeah. So this being here today is very
Gezellig.
So it's not just one word for it, it's a combination of words, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, some concepts are hard to translate. But Didi, you said you hated doing that. What do you mean? Like correcting people, or did you feel like you were laughing at them instead of with them, or what do you mean?
I mean, yes, that, but also like hearing people pronounce it in like a very nice way, and then me having to be like, it's
Oh.
and
I
everybody
don't
like
think anybody
laughing at me, and I'm like, I know, I didn't make it up. Like,
No.
I know it sounds horrible.
I don't think anybody interpreted that way. I think people, when they saw what they were doing, I think they had fun.
Yeah.
I think they all knew that it was an impossible task.
Oh yeah.
But that's part about learning about another culture. And as I say, language is probably one of the first things that we learn. And it is, even though all of the letters of our alphabets are the same, in the same order and everything, we pronounce them differently, we put them together differently. And even for myself, after having worked here for a few years, I still have trouble. I do. Annette, how much planning goes into an event like this?
Quite a bit. So we usually start thinking about a theme in January. This year, the Belgium Embassy co-hosted an event with us. So we had to look for common topics while presenting both countries in the best way possible. So we had bi-weekly meetings, we attended the EU counselor meetings for the latest updates, we reached out to different vendors, had regular check-ins with our facility team here at the embassy. We hired a security and a first aid team, recruited volunteers because we needed many that day. And yeah, there are many more aspects that go into organizing a large event like this.
You start in January, so it really does take a long time.
It does, yeah.
Didi, it must have been somewhat eye-opening. Did the day unfold like you thought it would?
With events like this, there's always going to be unexpected, surprises or stuff that maybe goes wrong, but then it's like the challenge to make sure that it doesn't mess up the event and that the guests don't notice that. So even if you're stressed behind the scenes, like to not show that. But honestly, I think most of our ideas really worked out really well, and I think the most important thing is that we also had fun, right? And that everybody that came was clearly having fun, and that if somebody had like a problem or something that like they had questions or something, we could help them and we knew what to do. So
and we were easily findable with our orange shirts.
Yes.
Right? And certainly one of you're right about things that maybe not always go as planned. I think we ran out of fruit early in the day for that bike, and we had to run out and buy some more and it lasted the rest of the day. But
Yeah, that's right. I think at 11 a.m. we ran out of fruit and we still had, 5 hours to go.
It sounds like we severely underestimated the number of people who would want to ride a bike to make their own smoothie.
Right.
The line was crazy.
The line was long.
And it was the first time we had a smoothie bike, so it was a little bit of a test for us as well. Apparently it was very popular, so that's good to know for next year. But yeah, like Didi said, we have to improvise. So a couple of colleagues stepped up. They went to the Giant. They bought more fruit, and we were good to go for the rest of the day. Yeah.
Did we have any left over? Did we go through it all?
We used most of it. Yeah. Yeah.
I think you touched on this earlier. That we look for similarities as well between the different cultures, right? That part of the open house is to see some similarities, and I use one of the similarities that I see as being a baseball fan here at the Dutch Embassy is the number of Dutch MLB players who are in the MLB. But some of our guests didn't quite know who they were or had trouble seeing it. Let's take a look at that clip.
I'm going to start really easy, okay?
Okay, yeah.
With
just one, right? One easy question.
One easy question? Yeah. Can you name this boy band?
Boy band?
I don't know. NSYNC.
NSYNC. Almost.
Use Klein background singers.
They look like they could be athletes.
You know, I heard you say before they're part of a boy band, but I never heard of...
I was pulling their leg. It's not a part of a boy band.
Oh, then it must be the soccer team.
Soccer team.
Football team.
They are soccer players.
They are soccer? You think they play soccer?
Do I have to say football? I mean, I would say soccer, right?
Either one is wrong, so you can say either one.
Did they play soccer?
Right.
Almost, only it's America's pastime.
I don't know who they are, but this
You're not-
guy's
you're not-
giving me big baseball player vibes. I don't know who he is, but
That's baseball.
That's baseball. They're Major League Baseball players.
All right, Kenley Jensen. And I don't know, but he used to play for the Dodgers, and now I think it's very famous closer. He goes like, he's good.
They are baseball players. Major League. They're from Curacao and Aruba, so they're part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. He is a closer for the Boston Red Sox.
oh, I'm from Boston. Well, not.
You're from Boston?
I'm
And
from Red Sox Nation.
Red Sox Nation,
I
okay.
should not. I'm not from Boston.
Okay.
But Red Sox Nation.
Boston Braves.
Roberts. He was on the Red Sox.
He was on the Red
He
Sox.
was on the Red
He got free agency, I believe.
Yes,
Took him.
he did.
Yes.
Dewey.
You seem to really enjoy doing this.
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah.
Because
I can see that.
people know it's not too serious, and they're learning something.
Yeah.
I've always been surprised at the number of MLB players. There's quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they are from the Kingdom, and that's part of the intent of the EU Open House is to explain that we're also the Caribbean parts of Aruba, Curacao, and St. Martin.
That's right. Yeah.
And a lot of the players come from Curacao and Aruba. Well, a lot. Even if it's, I think it might be half a dozen or so who are in the major leagues right now.
Mm-hmm.
But for such a small island nation, that's
pretty special.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Okay, so the idea of the open house is to provide visitors with a taste of what a country is like. And I gave folks a true taste of the Netherlands for participating. The candy that I mentioned in the earlier one, Dropjes. And of course, we filmed it.
Thank you all for playing. Would you like to try a Dutch licorice? You want sweet, super sweet, or really sweet? Because those aren't the options. Honey, sweet, or salty. What you and I think is sweet might mean something different in the Netherlands.
I think salt.
It's hard to say. It's really hard to describe the flavor.
Is it good?
Oh, these are different?
No, those are the same.
I keep.
Or are you going to keep it?
You're going to keep it.
Want the whole thing? Okay. Never had that before. It's good. No? I like it.
But how
Dutch people like it.
serious?
Yeah. Oh yeah, one's enough. One's enough.
Stuff to bite?
What's that?
Interesting.
Interesting. You like it?
Not really.
No.
Is that like you like it? The flavor?
I like it. Yeah.
So, like that very common food in dogs.
Yes.
And adult, child, they all like it.
Yes.
Did you want one, sir?
No.
Yeah.
Everybody eats this. It's like a candy. And this is the sweet one. We have a salty one too, which is like sweet and salty.
I love Drop.
Oh yeah, she's a big fan.
I'm a huge fan of Drop.
See my face? It's that means really hard to describe.
Yeah.
Dankjewel.
Lekker?
Lekker. Ja, ik had een dropje.
Yeah.
That's what we expected. Thank you for. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's nice.
So funny.
So drop or dropja, are they the same things? I heard the one person there say drop. I hear dropja. What's the difference?
Dropje is like the small version. It's like a dropje. It's like if you put like the y behind the word, it's like
The J-E
makes it
behind a
small,
word.
So it's
Oh.
little dropje. Little drop, I guess.
So does that mean a little piece, or just does that kind of like saying, yeah, I'll have a
It's
dropja,
like, I'll have a little candy.
a little candy. And do you guys like drop?
Yeah.
Annette, do you like it?
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, salt, sweet, anything. I do.
It's interesting how different cultures
Yeah.
find the different tastes.
Like
'cause
the Australians love Marmite, or
what is Marmite?
no, not Marmite.
No, what's the name of that? Vegemite?
Vegemite.
Vegemite. I don't even know what
Yeah.
that is.
It's like a very salty spread that they put on bread. They love it. But
Okay.
when I was there and I tried it,
No.
I was like the guy with the poker
Yeah.
face.
And you didn't
It's
like
not
it?
good. It's
Yeah.
not good.
So salty, yeah.
Yeah.
I think all countries have their own like.
They do, and I hear other people say how sweet everything in the U.S. is.
You're right.
Whether
That's
it's
right.
whether it's the bread or
So much sugar and everything.
there's a lot
Yeah.
of sugar in
Yeah.
quite a bit. Yeah. I do not like drop. You can have all the.
I can have your share?
You can have my share. Yes.
Awesome.
Annette, this is a great example of public diplomacy. Government officials introducing themselves to and interacting with average folks in the U.S. What other events does the embassy host to invite members of the public in?
I agree. I think it's a great way to connect with the public. For other events, I'm thinking of the Kids Eurofest, which will take place in October. That is a great opportunity for families to enjoy music, arts, and many other things from the different EU countries. You can check the website of the EU delegation for the dates and more information.
But that's this fall.
That's in fall, yeah. And another event that I'm thinking of is the Freedom Concert, which we have annually, and that's usually in May, beginning of May. It's always a beautiful ceremony, and I would invite everyone to at least join once. And more information on that you can find on our website, The Netherlands and You.
NetherlandsandYou.nl / United States.
That one, yes.
Yes. Didi, did you have many opportunities? You've been here for a few months, right? Since it hasn't been 6 months yet, has it?
No.
Okay, so what was your favorite public diplomacy event during the time here?
So my first event, so right when I got here, I kind of hit the ground running because the first event was the Dutch Tulip Days.
Dutch Tulip, oh yes.
At the residence of the ambassador.
Mm-hmm.
That was really special and definitely made an impression because it was the first time for me seeing seeing Embassy Row, because our embassy is not on Embassy Row.
No, yeah.
And that is really a beautiful and impressive place to be. And seeing the residence, which is also a beautiful building, and being able to help out like before, behind the scenes, and also during the event. And I think there were 12 events going on within the Tulip Days, 3 days of Tulip Days, and
4 events a day, I think.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
So many people saw the flowers. I think we had under 15,000 tulips.
Native plants.
And we had native plants, which Annette and I all...
You both did that one too,
actually,
right?
Yeah, we were like digging in the dirt, putting all these plants in. It was a lot, but it was really really fun and really nice to see something like that come together. So,
Will we participate in the open house next year?
For sure.
Are you already working on it? You said you start in January.
I prefer to focus on other events first, but in the back of my mind always, because we always want to do better than the year before or do something different. So for sure we're thinking about it, but we have luckily many other events to focus on this year. So yeah.
Next May.
Next
EU
May.
Open House.
Yes, next
the
May.
Netherlands Embassy.
It's usually the second Saturday in May.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll put it on my calendar.
Awesome.
Well, that's all we have time for today. Thank you again, Annet and Didi, for joining me for this episode of Vijf Vragen. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Please tell us what you think in the comments below, and be sure to click on the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next episode or the other videos we post on our YouTube channel. I'll be back behind the microphone next month with another member of the Dutch Diplomatic Network in the United States. Until then, you can keep up with our work on any of our social media channels, Facebook, X, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Just search for NL in the USA, and you can stay up to date on how the United States and the Netherlands have a partnership that works.